Hello, this is Daryl at 10 Foot Truck Good Attitude Services. Today I'm in the office. Trying to get rid of some inventory here, stuff that I acquired on a job, and it's taking a lot of room, so I can't put it in the storage, so I need to sell it. It's all good stuff, and it's all new, so I'm going to be selling that, and that's part of the junk business. You acquire stuff that you gotta either store, or and if you get too much of it gets acquired, you have to get rid of it, donate it, sell it. This stuff's so nice, I'm going to go ahead and sell it. And I didn't do much work this week. Today I had some dental work, and but this weekend's going to be busy. I got some pretty decent jobs coming up this weekend, and last week was really good. So far this month has been double what I had last summer. So things are picking up. So I'm starting to see some improvement, which is good, and I'm happy about that. And I'm doing a combination of my own ads, mainly on Craigslist, and then of course I do my ads on Google. And then I also have customers like this weekend, people that I just met out and about in public, where when you're actually talking to people and handing out cards. So I got a job from someone I handed a card to, and that's always good. So a combination of handing out the cards, Craigslist gets a lot, and then of course I have Load Up, which I've been doing as an app, and I usually choose the jobs that fit with me. So far they've had some pretty decent jobs. Now the thing about Load Up is I know a lot of people don't want to use these apps, and I do. I use it because it fills in the gaps as I'm building my own clientele, and it helps, and I'm appreciative of the opportunity. But when it comes to your own customers, of course, those customers, you're going to build up a repeat clientele doing that. When you're using apps, it's harder to build up those repeat clients. Now the apps, they do an amazing job of marketing, because they have the resources to do marketing in every corner of the United States, in all cities, all rural areas. They market everywhere, and that's great. And that's probably the future of that bigger, what I call big companies that are doing that. Like it used to be 1-800-JUNK. 1-800-JUNK is kind of an old model, because they have to actually franchise in each little community. They have to do the demographics of that community. They have the person who buys that franchise or whatever, or however that works, has to purchase the trucks, has to have an office, has to have employees, has to have all that overhead. Whereas the fact with these apps that are on these phone apps or computer apps like Load Up, they don't need any of that. They're just subcontracting anyone who's available with a truck in any city or any county or any town across the United States. They can subcontract those people to do the work, and so the company itself is all marketing. All the money is going into marketing and running the application, which is it's a platform for subcontractors. So I see that as something that's going to take over a lot of the market, and I'm fine with that. It's a good opportunity if you're building your business and you need that extra work, or you need something like that to help you out. I totally appreciate that. I have had no problems with Load Up at all. But I can see what they're doing. I can see how they're going to succeed at what they're doing because of the model that they have. Whereas the old model of doing your franchises, that's a lot of overhead, and you can only market in certain regions. You have to, like I said, it's the demographics. It has to match the demographics to where someone's going to actually invest in all that equipment. Whereas this one, you could be, someone could be in the middle of nowhere in some small town. I've seen some of these jobs that are out in the middle of nowhere, and they're paying a lot more because it's harder to find someone. So that subcontractor, if they sign up and they happen to live out where there's maybe not much of a market, but on the side they could do a job for pretty good money. And so what they do is they just gather up subcontractors in all these areas, so they can blanket in areas that like a franchise probably won't do, because it might be too far out of their area. So I can see how those apps are going to be, because they can put so much into marketing and blanketing all the areas on the internet, and using all the technology. And now we have artificial intelligence that can build websites very fast. They can build all that artificial intelligence can build up all that, whatever you call that, marketing, SEO. I don't know how that works, but getting it on all the social media and all that, it can be done probably a lot faster these days. So I think that my theory is that I think I might have talked about this before. I think my theory is that these a lot of these franchise model junk removal, especially like 1-800-JUNK and all that, are going to kind of slow down a bit. I mean, they're not going to be taking that market. They can only take so much. Because before it was like, in the old days, junk removal was just guys with a pickup truck and they spray painted a number on the side of the truck, or and had maybe like plywood walls or a trailer, and they just did their local area. And then eventually it became 1-800-JUNK, where they did a fancy wrap on the truck with the number. It's 1-800 number, and then they franchised those companies. Get franchised in different cities, so it's spread out, so the name was known from coast to coast. I don't think I have yet to see a 1-800-JUNK in my area, probably because my area is only a couple 100,000 people. It's not a big. I'm not living in a city with millions of people, so it's a smaller market. I do see college hunks out here, and I see there and 2 Men in a Truck, I think, and because it's a smaller area, but it's spread out, and the area I live in supports a lot of rural areas around, so it's kind of a vast area. So there may be 200,000 here, but there's another 100,000. Altogether it's like could be 500,000. So there is a couple of those franchises out here, but Load Up gets a lot of work out here too, and it's because they just subcontract people in this area. So I'm fine with that. So I think that is going to be you can see more and more of that. But one thing about doing your own, when you're building your local business for and getting those repeat customers in your area, those people are looking for someone that they can trust and they can hire again, because they trust that person to go into their house and they feel comfortable with you going there. Whereas if they're using a company, say like one of these apps like Load Up, since it's subcontractors, you may not get the same subcontractor each time because they're subcontracting with who knows how many people. It's just like in doing Uber or these food apps. I've done where you deliver groceries and that kind of thing. They may like your service, but they may not be able to get a hold of you again because you may not be on the app looking at the jobs when they're looking for a service person, and they can't call you directly. Like, they just look on the app. So if you're getting a customer that likes you as a service provider and trusts you, they have your phone number, they're going to call you and then pass your number around. That's organic, local organic business, and that's the kind of business I'm looking to do more and more, and that's the kind of business I like. But in the meantime, I'm also adding these apps in just to get work when I'm not working. But I could see them continuing to build. I could see them being there, and I don't really mind the competition, and I'll be a part of it, and I'll work with companies like that. But ultimately, what I'm doing is building my own network over time, and it's getting better and better over time. It's just harder because there's not as much population here. I'm not living in a city with millions of people, where like I see some of these guys on the internet who are building their junk removal businesses, really big. And of course, when they say they're living in a city with 9 or 10 million people, you're like, well, yeah, well, okay, I can see how that can be beneficial, because when you're only dealing with a few 100,000 people, it's going to take a longer time to gather those customers when there's a lot of competition. But I think it'll be fine. I'm positive, looking positive towards the future. Just want to do a little video here about stuff, and maybe I'll talk later this weekend when I have these other jobs and see how those go on the weekend. And looking forward to a really good end of August. We have a week or so left of August. It's been really good at the beginning of August, and then looking into a great September. September and October are also really good months for doing these type of jobs, and I've been doing also some moving jobs too as well with the junk removal and in combination. So That's about all I had to talk about. I think there's nothing new that I can think of. I just hope everyone's doing great. Oh, it's been really, really hot out here. I don't know about your area, but out here it's been at least the last 3 days, it's been above 100. It's been like 102, 103. It's very difficult to work in that kind of weather, so I kind of took those days off. And it's going to decrease, and I think it's going to get cooler this weekend and cooler next week. So I'm looking forward to that cooler weather, and it's much easier to work labor work when it's not over 100 degrees. Anyway, well, have a great day and a great weekend, and maybe I'll talk to you this weekend after my jobs. This is Daryl at Good Attitude Services, 10-foot truck. Have a great one.